Maria Moore works as a customer representative at a coffee shop. As a single mom, she tells us that she's had to cut back on a number of things to manage during this economic period. And she has some advice for other single moms.
What exactly does your job entail?
Well, what I do, I make sure that every customer itself gets what they want, exactly what they need. In terms of they could come and change or whatever they change up, they still getting what they want. That wrap is to make sure that the customer don't stay long, the customer don't try to get a wrong order, and then make sure that even the customers say they have to go, we try to deal with it quickly.
How long have you been doing this?
Wow, I've been doing it since I was the age of 17. And didn't realize that was a passion in me. I didn't realize I was a people person, that I should say.
How many days do you work for the week?
Well, I work 6 days with 1 day off, and I have my time off even between the days, and I work right through.
Do you have any children?
One. She's 9 years.
How is it? How do you manage between your work schedule and you're a single mom?
Single mom.
How do you manage with
Well,
that?
how I manage to do it is like it's like I had to plan it out. Dealing with my time to come to work, dealing in times of picking her up. I have like my friends, my closest friends who will pick her up and drop her off. I have like times when I will go home, relax with her because I finish at like after 7, 6, somewhere there.
How is it as a single mom managing during this economic downturn with, on the other side you have prices going up and things are getting tough?
Well, it's all about management, and as I say, it's how you manage yourself. You have to budget yourself to manage the things at your home and at work. You have to manage.
Have you had to cut back on things?
Yeah, I had to cut back on a lot of stuff, even long before. Even the years before.
What did you cut back on? What are some of the things?
I cut backs on a lot of bills in terms of cable. I cut backs in terms of the security of my home. I cut backs on a lot of stuff that I shouldn't have want and I really do need. I cut backs on a lot of stuff. And even the security for my own car, I had to cut it back because it wasn't really making any sense. And when I realized that I cut back on a lot of stuff, I realized where I could have been able to save and have much more and do much more for my little daughter.
What percentage of your salary are you able to save every month?
Well, I'll be able to save like about half of it. Half of it, and the majority of it, some of it I could only spend because I have what I need.
Do you have a rent or mortgage to pay?
I do pay mortgage, yes. So I do pay mortgage, no rent. Because I was manageable enough to work, to save, to get what I have to get, to do the things I have to do up to this day. I always tell myself, I didn't want it to rent anymore. I moved with a powerful mind, and I did what that powerful mind told me to do. And that I had my way to mortgage, which is going to be my own one day.
You seem to be managing quite well given the restraints and the economic downturn. What advice would you give maybe to other single moms who are struggling out there to be able to make their monthly commitments?
Well, most advice that I would give to a single mother out there is that they have to manage their salary well. They have to manage the stuff that they have to do out there in terms of they have to know how to hold a budget. The budget that they're holding, they have to be able to know what they're spending it on the things that they do really need. You can't say, hey, I want to get a job today, and you find that job is not paying you well, to be honest with you. And if you're going all about doing something else with your money, I mean, you can't blame the job, you have to blame yourself. A parent now have to know exactly where to put the foot down in terms of the crisis that we are going through, because even so, we don't have to say, you know what, we're living in a crisis and feeling it and saying that we're blaming the job because of a certain salary. You can't blame the job, you have to blame yourself. What you have to do as a single parent out there is to manage yourself properly. Manage it by what you need and not what you want.
Anthony, I think the main point that we take away from that interview with Maria Moore is that budgeting during these economic times is very important.
Yes, it is even more important to underscore the point that people need to spend less than they earn.
Yes, and food prices will continue to increase, as we heard in the interview with the Supermarkets Association.
The critical point there is that supermarkets should not be allowed to use the depreciation of the TT dollar to increase their prices unjustifiably.
And during these tough economic times, businesses have been urging the government to support them so that they can get by.
Yes, I think the government really needs to do more about the ease of doing business in Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, thank you so much for watching this week's episode of Money Matters. Have a safe Easter. Money Matters will resume on May 3rd. I'm Judy Kanhai.
And I'm Anthony Wilson. Thank you for joining us.